So, at the greengrocer's, a man had bought a monstrous vegetable. He had said to the grocer, "I will give you a punch in the nose for that green earth, child." No, the earth is full enough of tears," said the grocer. "Well, may I just take it home and chew it to death?" said the man. "Look out," said the grocer, "a tomato is watching you, and I think a celery would love to break your back." "It would, and maybe a certain greengrocer would like me to lift his apron and let the public see his bad legs," said the man. "If you do, maybe I'll turn a doorknob and the door will open," said the grocer. "Well, maybe I'll tell the grapes your belly button's on your left thumb," said the man. "Oh yeah, well maybe I'll turn around and wait on another customer," said the grocer. "Oh please, Mr. Greengrocer, let me have something green to kill." "Well, take this," screamed the grocer. But when the man got home with his monstrous vegetable, his wife said, "The grocer has cheated you. This is your son." Like, how weird and lovely. And he has all these great little drawings like that are just like kind of Shel Silverstein like. They're just like goofy and I don't know. That's like a good fantasy. I would say, so there's this author named Annie Dillard, and she has this book called Pilgrimage at Tinker Creek, and she has this line, I think it's in that book, and she has this line that says, "The way we spend our days is of course the way we spend our lives." And I hate that saying. I think it's such a scary saying because it puts so much pressure on this idea that, you know, every day we have to cultivate a day worth living in a life, you know, and that's kind of scary to think about. I think, you know, it feels kind of like a curse sometimes, even though it's like a really lovely kind of in passing, like saying, I don't know, I think about that and it feels like kind of a haunting feeling, like my days aren't worthy of like a life well spent. I think that's like a big fear. Hard one. So, best experience I've had in my life. I think one of my favorite moments, I guess I can say with a certainty, is I left my home in Ohio to move here, and one of my favorite moments was coming into the state line and like just knowing I finally got here. And I love Olympia so much. It's like it's exactly where I want to be, and it's where I hope to spend the rest of my life. And I think that was just like when I saw the Columbia River Gorge and I like just got in here, it was just like it was the best feeling ever. Yeah. I think one of the purposes of life in general is, so for instance, I love poetry. I love poetry so much, and I love it because it makes you pause. Like there's so many points by which, whether you're reading it out loud or in your head, everything about it, like it's structured in a way by which like you either have to take pauses like frequently, or you have to actually go really quickly like through them. You know, there's interesting paces, and even the way that poems are laid out, they kind of give you structure. And I don't know, I think sometimes life is just a lot of good pauses in between like these lines worth like taking rest in. And I don't know, Robin Wall Kimber, I don't know, I'm kind of like going in circles, but Robin Wall Kimber has this really great line in her book, I think Braiding Sweetgrass, and it says something along the lines of, if I could do anything at all, it would be photosynthesize, so that I could just, my job basically in life would be to stand in the sun and admire like the ways in which the world like goes on basically without acknowledgement of me, you know, and like I love that, and I think it all feels like it ties together somehow. It's like how do we make space for good moments of rest and pause, and I think that's like the big purpose is just those little tiny moments, you know, of just being the observer, not so much the one in observation. So yeah, I'd say that. I've had so many lovely things said to me, like in kind passing, like not even profound things. There's just so many kind people that like, I don't know, that's a hard question. I think, honestly, I think just being a person who is able to experience community and just being given time at all, I think is one of the kindest gestures in the world, you know, just what it means to actually have someone listen to you and take a moment to acknowledge your existence, just like you coming over and being like, hey, can I just like get to know you for a second? Like, I don't know, that's like the good stuff. So today, you know, I guess it was just a person coming over and being like, hey, I want to get to know you. Can I ask you a couple questions? You know? And so that's not really what you asked, but I don't know, I think every single day, you know, there's always something really lovely that happens in passing with people, and I think that's the stuff to hold on to. Yeah. But I'm really excited to meet my future self and find out that question. But I think about that sometimes, like, it's just like a funny thought to, like, again, I don't think this is going to answer your question entirely, because I don't think I know how to answer that question, but I was thinking recently about, you know, it's so funny that we live in these bodies. They're clearly the same bodies we've had since we were kids. Like, we have scars, we have little marks, like we have nicks and things, and we acknowledge that it is the same body that held all of these past experiences, and yet that was like a different model of us, you know, like a totally different version. And I think about, like, you know, how bizarre it's gonna be, like, even just in 10 years, when I think, like, man, I was like a 28-year-old woman, like, meandering about, like, that's a different human, like, entirely. So I don't know, I hope when I'm 80, I'm not thinking so much about, like, any kind of past situations or model numbers of myself, you know. I hope it's just like, man, like, I got to walk out in the sun today. I got to read something lovely today. I got to have an experience, and I hope it's just those tiny things, you know, like, yeah, I hope it's just tiny things that are important. Yeah. Oh, all the time. I mean, yeah. I think that's the great thing about being a person, is that we have, like, the capacity to, like, think outside of the realm of our reality, you know? That's so bonkers. That's just bananas. Like, to be, like, these creatures that, you know, get to, I don't remember where I heard this, but somewhere along the lines of, like, we're the only, you know, creatures that can basically, like, forget what we are and, like, kind of recreate scenarios in our heads of, like, a reality in which we don't exist in. And it's bananas. bananas if you think about it, and it's kind of crazy that we even want to do that. So I mean, yeah, that's like a cool part of like the human experience, is like even the drab moments of kind of those fantasies of, anxieties. We all experience anxieties, and anxieties are nothing really but a response to this sort of like protective mode of fantasy driven like experiences or whatever. And it's just like a funny and sad like situation by which we experience that sometimes. But yeah, I mean, all the time I think, I can't think of a good one today, but like, for instance, I'm reading this book by Russell Edson, and he writes like these flash fiction poem pieces, and here, I'll read you one, and that will be like my answer, because I think that he's a master of tiny fantasy, like funny things. Let's see. Okay, so this one's called Vegetables. So, at the greengrocer's, a man had bought a monstrous vegetable. He had said to the grocer, "I will give you a punch in the nose for that green earth child." No, the earth is full enough of tears," said the grocer. "Well, may I just take it home and chew it to death?" said the man. "Look out," said the grocer, "a tomato is watching you, and I think a celery would love to break your back." "It would, and maybe a certain greengrocer would like me to lift his apron and let the public see his bad legs," said the man. "If you do, maybe I'll turn a doorknob and the door will open," said the grocer. "Well, maybe I'll tell the grapes your belly button's on your left thumb," said the man. "Oh yeah, well maybe I'll turn around and wait on another customer," said the grocer. "Oh please, Mr. Greengrocer, let me have something green to kill." "Well, take this," screamed the grocer. But when the man got home with his monstrous vegetable, his wife said, "The grocer has cheated you. This is your son." Like, how weird and lovely. And he has all these great little drawings like that are just like kind of Shel Silverstein like. They're just like goofy, and I don't know. That's like a good fantasy. So yeah, I guess that's where I'm at.